And welcome back to another episode of Energized. Barry, how are you doing?
Ross, what's the story, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Look, big weekend ahead. The Six Nations is back. That's what we're here for. That's what you're here for. Barry, how long have we been waiting for the Irish Rugby to be back?
Oh, well, I wonder if anyone actually noticed that we've actually changed seats for this one, because this is, I don't know why we did that, actually. We were watching the United match. We were watching the United match, and we were just like, all right, let's get this cracked. Oh, yeah, I apologise, by the way. This is meant to be on Monday. We weren't able to do it, obviously Tuesday as well, but, like, right, we're here, we're back. What's the crack?
Yeah, we have a good show in store for you guys. Obviously, we want to actually wait until the Six Nations team come out anyway. Yeah. Andy Farrell's first game in charge after a very, very disappointing World Cup. So it's really a chance for a new leaf for Ireland to get out there and show their stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it was such a strange World Cup. But looking back on it now, we're actually like really, really bad. We went in hoping that we do well, but it turned out to be not a great competition at all. And yet again, we didn't win in the knockout stages.
Yeah, look, there was no excuses to be made. Yeah. The performances were very, very poor. You know, New Zealand ran through us like we were absolutely nothing. They treated us as if we were like a Samoa or a Tonga. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, a lot of players were out on their feet, but then, like, even looking at Rory Best, who's now retired, he was basically just already in the team based on what probably one of the big problems Joe Schmidt had was he had loyalty to the players when it should have been done more on what the actual form was. You know what I mean? Going to a World Cup at like 37, 38 is a bit late.
Well,
and starting as well.
Yeah, he was the captain going into it. I think there was questions over whether he was even the best hooker in the Irish squad at the time. So
yeah, or even an Ulster.
Yeah, you have to sort of ask those questions, and now it's time for Ireland to sort of kick on without them. There's no point sort of doing too much of a biopsy on what happened to Ireland in the World Cup. We might as well look forward, and it looks like there's a new wave of talent coming into Irish rugby yet again, which is absolutely phenomenal.
That's what has me excited now, especially looking at the backs. There's a lot of new faces, well, like new starting faces.
Yeah, so I suppose we'll look through the team. Did you want to start in the backs, or do you want to,
Well,
tell me what is the team that Andy Farrell picked, the team you were expecting?
Do you know what? Like, just looking at the faces on the starting lineup now, I'm way more excited now than reading it from paper. We should probably start off with the forwards first, because there hasn't been as many changes, and then it just be more talking points.
We'll start off with the front row. Yeah. You have Cian Healy, you have Herring, and you have Toy Furlong.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping Ronan Kelleher would get his debut in this game. I was hoping he'd start. He's been absolutely phenomenal for Leinster. He's kept Sean Cronin out of the team. The only thing is he is coming back off injury, but I think a great way to actually start him in debut would be to actually start him alongside his Leinster teammates in the front row, and that would really actually like solidify our scrum. I don't think Herring has played too many games alongside Healy and Furlong, so will that cause scrummaging issues? I don't know. What's your take on that?
I wouldn't be overly stressed about that, to be honest, man. I'd be more worried about what the situation is with the lineup. Keller is on the bench. I'm sure he'll make an appearance because
there's no doubt he'll make his debut.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of players are going to get off the bench. Yeah, good to see Devin Toner actually on the bench. Yeah, what do you think of this? Because
I personally am actually a big fan of Devin Toner being on the bench.
Oh, you want to be a starter?
To be honest, I feel like you either start Devin Toner or you don't have him in the squad.
Yeah.
I don't feel like if Ireland are losing, I don't think bring on Toner. I don't think he is an immense ball carrier. He's a decent tackler. Like, he makes his tackles, but it's not like he puts in really big hits. And his main thing is to win the line out. Yeah. Let's be honest. Yeah, he's decent around the pitch, but no one's like, oh shit, Devin Toner's running at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's just good to have him back in the squad because he wasn't in the World Cup squad as well.
Yeah, potentially so. I would almost rather have Dunica Ryan in the squad there, because I think he's a bit more of a bruiser, and I think the one thing that Irish pack is maybe lacking is a bit of grit, maybe.
Yeah, Brian Driscoll was actually saying he doesn't think there's too many dogs in this pack, and he's expecting CJ Standard to do a lot more carrying of the ball into rucks and doing the dirty work.
Yeah, I thought CJ Sander was actually an interesting pick in terms of form. I wasn't too sure if he was actually going to start, let alone be in the squad.
Yeah.
The match day squad. He
Ahead of Peter O'Mahony as well.
I think. Well, I think O'Mahony on the bench is weirdly enough like absolutely golden because he can play anywhere across the back three, which is quite rare. Like bring O'Mahony on after 50, 60 minutes, like that's an absolute terrier after bringing onto the pitch.
Yeah.
I think Van der Fleeren at 7 is one of the few people who's like solidified his name on the team sheet.
Yeah.
Standard's probably there for a bit of experience. He does carry the ball up well. He seemed to like his yardage seemed to like severely drop during the World Cup, so it'll be very interesting to see whether he can get that back. And then in at number 8, Caelan Doris making his Ireland debut. What like a selection from Andy Farrell.
Yeah.
To me, it was like either Doris or Max Deegan.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be really sort of, brave as a manager to pick someone on their debut, starting number 8, especially like such a physical position. He's only 21 years of age. He looks absolutely incredible. He's got great offloading skills. He loves a carry. Judging from what I've seen, I think maybe he's actually an all-round better player than Deegan, but Deegan seems to like love a carry and love scoring a try. I don't think they both should have been in the squad though, if that makes sense. I think you had to go for one or the other.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So I can sort of understand that. I feel like Max Deegan and Jack O'Donoghue from Munster really did miss out on the squad. I thought maybe he could have been in at 6, to be honest, instead of Standard. But look, it's a very, very strong pack Andy Farrell's after putting out there. Doris is sort of almost the wild card in terms of international rugby.
Yeah. What exactly are you expecting from Doris going into this now as well?
I expect plenty of offloads. I want to see him carry the ball, to be honest, and I want to see how he stacks up against the Scottish pack, because the Scottish pack is always going to be quite big.
Yeah,
I want to see how they do against them. But for me, look, Henderson and Ryan, I don't think we mentioned them in the second row. We talk more about Toner, but like there are 2 best second rows in the country, in my opinion. And Henderson's obviously the Ulster captain. James Ryan is like, people were tipping him being the next Ireland captain, potentially after Sexton. So like, there's plenty of leadership in that pack. Obviously, plenty of experience with Furlong and Healy. I expect Ireland to boss Scotland up front.
Yeah, same here. This is actually your brother Chris, shout out Chris, sent us a stat that Healy and Johnny Sexton are going to be the first 2 out of 7 players for Ireland that have played in 3 different decades.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like, Healy played in 2000, in the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s now. What a fella. So did Johnny Sexton.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people were looking at, sort of as you move into the backs, the scrum half. I think I was saying to you during the week before the team was announced, I was convinced Sean Cooney was going to start in at 9. He's been on absolute fire for Ulster. I think he's the top point scorer in the Pro 14. He's in absolutely immense form. I think the only reason he's not getting the nod here is that Conor Murray's experience, his partnership with Johnny Sexton. What a lot of people sort of forget about with Conor Murray is his game management. He manages the game probably better than any scrum half in the world.
Yeah, he's basically the same age as well. So apart from like absolutely getting rid of everyone, I don't see why you just shouldn't just keep Murray there.
Look, he's an absolute world-class talent when he does the game.
Yeah.
The only thing is that someone like Conor Murray has to perform, because Cooney's nipping at the butt to get in there.
Yeah.
And if he has any way a subpar performance, he'll be dropped for the next game and Cooney will be straight in.
Yeah, this is probably the most pressure he's been on in a long, long time as well.
It really, really is. Cooney actually also adds that extra aspect of goal kicking as well. Now, I know Conor Murray's actually kicked a few goals for Ireland as well, but like Cooney is actually the selected goal kicker for Ulster.
Yeah.
So, and there's also a good few more Ulster players in the team these days. So,
yeah, but like Sexton will be taking the kicks, Byrne will take the kicks. I mean, when's it really gone down to Cooney?
Well, like Cooney could be second choice for all we know. You know what I mean? Ross Byrne hasn't taken many kicks for Ireland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, the argument you have as well against Cooney, he is basically the same age as Murray, and there's no. There's more chance McGrath being the scrum half in 4 years' time at the next World Cup as well.
I suppose in terms of experience, like it's a wealth of experience in Murray's favour.
Yeah. Well, the people are like, oh, well, it's a bit unfair if Cooney doesn't play, but like sports isn't really fair either. And when you have a halfback partnership of Murray and Sexton, like it's hard not to pick that team.
Yeah, in fairness, they probably are the best halfback combination in the tournament.
Well, what Youngs and Farrell potentially.
Yeah, potentially, but like I'd prefer Murray and Sexton.
Yeah, well, you are Irish, so you are very biased.
Then I suppose moving to the centres, were you shocked to see Bundy Aki in the centre instead of Henshaw?
Do you know what? Everyone, like the people that I was listening to, like Andy Dunn and Keith Wood, neither of them mentioned Bundy Aki's name at all. So when I saw him in the starting lineup, I was like, oh yeah, Aki. What's the story, man?
In fairness, I feel like Bundy Aki very rarely has a subpar game in the Irish jersey.
Yeah.
He's obviously a big physical brute in the middle of the field. Adds a bit of bulk in there, especially with Ringrose. Ringrose is a bit more on the slender side, a bit more finesse. It's almost like you put a bully in there to beef it up a bit.
Yeah.
I think Henshaw and Ringrose as a partnership, they offer plenty in attack, but you might almost think defensively maybe they're not as high up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's something about Henshaw. I don't know if he's like lived up to the hype that I thought he could do. Like I know Ringrose was like 100% getting into the starting 15, but this is sort of the same problem that Cooney has as well as Henshaw. They're both now pushing Aki and Murray, and let's see what actually comes out of it at the end. Because in fairness, if Cooney does come in and eventually deep place Murray, and if Henshaw comes in later on in the tournament and takes Aki's spot, that's only good for the country as well, you know?
Yeah, well, it's good to show there's such healthy competition in all places. And I think centres as healthy a competition as ever. I think Ringrose has really sort of solidified himself as the 13. He is an absolute world-class 13. He's such a talented player. His ability to find a gap as well is next level. Bundy is absolutely brilliant, but I feel like Bundy, Farrell, Henshaw, any one of them could have went in and I would have went, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have went, oh, we're going to lose now. You know?
Yeah.
Then
Farrell has impressed every time he's played.
Yeah, he's almost like, I never let you down, lads, but don't give me a shot.
Yeah.
And then the wings was another place where I was slightly surprised, just because there was no Keith Earls, but he's had a few injury issues.
Yeah.
For me, Keith Earls has been my first winger on the team sheet, as opposed to Stockdale and Conway. I think obviously Stockdale on his day, he can single-handedly win you a game. He's a try-storming machine. He holds the record for most tries in a Six Nations tournament. But Keith Earls is like, you don't get any less than an 8 out of 10 game out of him. Sure you don't.
Yeah. Now, if Keith Earls was 100% fit, who would you think Stockdale or Conway would still be ahead of him? And who would you take out?
Well, I think I would have Earls down first, but I'd probably have Stockdale. Stockdale didn't have a very good World Cup, let's be honest. But
he sort of like came on the scene, did unreal, and then hasn't lived up to the hype since.
Yeah, but I think bar the World Cup, he's been quite good in Irish jerseys. Therefore, I'd sort of give him the BOG, the benefit of the doubt, and stick with Stockdale. And I'd probably have Conway on the bench just because he can play wing and fullback, so he's a bit more versatile.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're thinking of the band. And then obviously fullback Jordan Larmour. This is almost like a statement of intent here with Andy Farrell. He's looking to play some attractive, free-flowing attacking rugby. Larmour is an absolute wizard with the feet. He makes people miss tackles like there's no tomorrow. I'll never forget some of the plays he made against Italy last year in the Six Nations. He looked like he was dancing around people. He's an absolutely incredible rugby player.
Yeah.
And it just shows that he's kept Will Addison out of the team, who's been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
Larmour gets you out of your feet, man. I mean, gets you out of your seat.
He does. Look, if we sort of named the entire team, and I think it's a brilliant team. If I was in charge, I think I would have slightly changed it. I almost would have went Healy, Kelleher, Furlong, Ryan and Toner, and then you would have been like, right, there's the Leinster front five. That's your basis.
Yeah.
And then I would have been happy enough to sort of mix and match from there. But Leinster are so hot right now. They're the best team in Europe. I feel like Leinster could win the Six Nations.
Yeah.
So I'd almost sort of build your team off the Leinster core, and I'd sort of move from there,
I get you, yeah.
And we won't fire off in that wingers. I feel like at the moment with the wingers, you sort of have Conway, you have Stockdale, and you have Earls. But like when James Lowe comes into the fray as well, like, you know what I mean, it becomes very, very, very competitive.
Yeah, it does. What do you make of Addison being omitted from this squad? I know people wanted him in because of his versatility, but he also wasn't in the World Cup squad as well, so it's not as if he should be guaranteed to start in this 15.
Well, I just think with the form Leinster and Larmour are in, and Larmour was one of the few players who actually did do well at the World Cup. I think it would be almost like blasphemous to not give him the jersey. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when it came to the subs, that's again where I wasn't too sure with the bench. Like Henshaw's on the bench, obviously alongside Ross Byrne and John Cooney. I think because Conway can play fullback, he gives you a bit of versatility, and because Henshaw can play fullback, he gives you that bit of versatility. And then Larmour can also move on to the wing if, just say, Stockdale got injured, Henshaw come in a fullback. He sort of covered all the bases. That's almost one bit more shocked that he didn't have Henshaw starting and then maybe have someone else on the bench. I feel like if you pick Bundyaki or you pick Chris Farrell, they can play centre and that's it. I feel like the rest of the players are a bit more versatile around the back line.
I agree. I'm just so excited to see Larmour actually get the ball and go and see what happens, I think that was one thing we were lacking when Carney was playing. He was just getting a bit on and didn't really have it in his legs.
Carney was like safe as houses.
I know.
Kicked the ball up in the air, like he was never dropping it.
Like he's pure specialist back there, but it's going to be interesting to see now a brand new fresh pair of legs. Like Larmour's going to be there to stay, I think. Also, Rob Carney, he's on 98 caps now for Ireland. Do you think he'll ever get the last two?
Probably not, to be honest. That's the way it is, unless maybe we try like a game against Canada or something like that, and they want to give him the last two or something.
Yeah.
But then again, there's so much young talent coming through the team. Look, I always think with Irish rugby, there's that bit of there's two Leinster fans there saying all the Leinster players should be starting.
Yeah.
I
support Saracens.
I can see where that's coming from, to be honest. But also on the other side of it, like there are absolutely fantastic players from all provinces in the squad. It's just more so when you have those combinations there and they know each other so well, they play week in, week out together. Why not use that?
Yeah.
I think Munster, like Clyne's going to be an absolute monster for them. Like I said, Jack O'Donoghue, Stander, O'Mahony, like their back row was world class. They're as good as any team in Europe. Keith Earls, I think, is the best winger Ireland have.
Yeah,
Ulster, I think have more sort of starters or potential starters in the Irish squad now than they've had in a very long time. Herring, Henderson,
Stockdale,
Cooney, Stockdale, Addison. Like all five of them could be starting, and people wouldn't you can put in a very strong argument that they should start. Like it's good to see the competition growing in Irish rugby.
Yeah, we didn't pick the team now. Don't forget that.
Yeah. What do you think of the bench? The bench is strong enough as well. You have obviously Kelleher, who we've gone over. Kilcoyne, who I look at Cian Healy and be like, he's a 9 out of 10 from rower, and I look at Kilcoyne and for whatever reason I just think he's 7 out of 10. Just in terms of his physicality, his movement around the pitch, his scrummages is not as good. And I look at Porter and he's like an 8.5, but Furlong's a 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think our front row we're absolutely blessed.
Porter can also play loose and tight head, can he?
He can, yeah, but I think he's more so sort of really harped on the toy head side, and look, he's challenging Furlong for starting position and legitimately doing so, which is not very easy to do. Furlong was up for World Player of the Year last year. You know what I mean? So that's very, very impressive. The back row is ultra competitive as always. You still have Jordy Murphy up in Ulster pushing for a spot as well. Henderson can move into the back row as well. Alton Dillon is also extraordinarily versatile player, can play second row or back row. It's so competitive. And on top of that, at out half, after Sexton, it gets very competitive as well. You have Ross Byrne, you have Harry Byrne, you have Fitz over in Connacht. These players are chomping at the bit to get a shot in the Ireland camp and to get a shot at that green jersey. It's brilliant to see, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually literally so excited for Saturday. I have a few points watching this at Guinness.
I actually read another article that like Ian Madigan was like trying to come back to Ireland as well.
Oh yeah.
Get back in the fray.
What about Simon Zebo? Any chance of that?
No, I don't think so. But
Yeah.
who knows? Never say never. You know what I mean? If he came back to Munster, would he get in the squad? Very much potentially so. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ireland do take on Scotland on this Saturday at 4:45 in the Aviva Stadium.
Did you see Finn Russell?
I heard he went down to piss.
Yeah, and then like didn't show up for training, and then like was invited back to the camp 2 days later, and he was like, "Nah, you're grand," and then went back to France, so he's not playing.
Jeez.
So, in my opinion, that only favours Ireland even more. I do think Ireland are going to go out and beat Scotland. I think they'll beat them quite convincingly now, and it'll be a great start and it'll be a great confident booster for the start of Six Nations. They're at home as well.
Yeah, Ireland are at home. So obviously myself and Ross, we're going to be keeping you up to date every round of the Six Nations. Ireland are back in action again on the 8th as well.
Play as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah, well, if we're looking at last season's
I think Wales won last year, didn't they?
Wales won the Grand Slam. England came second, Ireland came third, France came fourth, and Scotland came fifth.
With Italy sixth, as always.
With Italy sixth, actually. Yeah, I actually nearly forgot that.
Right,
but
who's playing first?
Yeah, so it all kicks off Saturday. Wales are taking on Italy 2:15 in the Principality Stadium. So it's the
defending champs against the wooden spooners.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're both going to say Wales are going to win with a bonus point.
Yeah, Wales are very impressive in that World Cup as well. They got to the semi-finals.
Oh, I actually don't watch Man Priestley play. I think he's brilliant.
They're a very, very good side and a good team. They're actually just our class. And Alwyn Jones, I don't know how he's still going, but fair play to him.
I think he's 37, isn't he?
He just loves it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
he's not stopping. He's not stopping.
It's not stopping. I mean, it's cool.
I think Ireland's second game against Scotland in the Aviva Stadium.
Yeah.
I expect Ireland to win with a bonus point.
Yeah, I just think that back line is just so... It's going to do some crazy stuff.
I think Ireland are going to win like 40 points to like 18.
I think Ireland are going to start playing the rumour on the street is that Ireland are going to be playing a lot like Leinster, and there's going to be a lot of quick...
More fast and expansive.
Yeah. And that's class to me, because they looked at really slow over the last couple of years. You know what I mean? And it was just like, here, come on, lads.
And then you have France at home in Paris to England.
Yeah.
For me, England were like the predetermined favourites. And I think as it gets closer, and because of what's happened with Saracens and stuff like that, it's obviously going to have to affect the squad and that. Yeah. I think they're becoming less and less favourites. And I think Ireland are now actually and Wales are becoming closer to being the favourite as the tournament comes closer to fruition.
I sort of do get what you mean, but we should probably go into that a tiny bit more detail. This game does take place on Sunday, so there's 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. This is going to be at 3 o'clock on Sunday. France are at home. Ross, yeah, obviously this shit situation with Saracens is definitely going to like take people's eyes off the ball. Like, what club am I going to? Yeah. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty. England looked unreal in that World Cup. I know they lost in the final. I think they took their foot off the gas. But this France, they have. They picked a 42-man squad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nearly half the squad is uncapped, and only one player is 30 or older.
I feel like France are constantly just like rotating a new bunch of players in.
Yeah.
I almost think it's like quite rare for a French player to have like 40 caps at any stage now. Look, this new style of France is they're trying to get the young blood in. I think it's going to be probably a tough 2 or 3 years, but in 3 years' time, France could be back as good as the other nations. They're blooding in new players. They're blooding in a new team. They're looking for a younger version of the team. I think they will be somewhat competitive. All these guys are going out here to prove a point, but I do think England will win. I think England win by about 8 to 10 points. I think it will almost sort of get to the 60 minute. It'll be really close, and then England will like score a few tries in the last 20.
Yeah, I think Billy Vunipola is out of this competition as well.
He's a massive loss for them. Yeah. He's one of the best players in the world. Like, not just best in breaks, one of the best players. Like, he can do it all. Like, when his socks are down around his ankles, you know he means business.
Or his pants. But yeah, as you said, we're going to be running through the whole competition as well. And I'm really, really looking forward to the Six Nations. I was saying, like, you can't beat the Six Nations crack. Like, I swear to God, I'm sure it's like we obviously have people from Scotland, Wales, England, and like that follow the show.
And France, bonjour.
And France and Italy actually as well. But
picks for top try scorer.
Oh my God, that's actually one thing I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Cock and Singa for England.
For me, I think it's between two people. I think it's Adams for Wales and Andrew Conway for Ireland. I think he's very prone to scoring like 2 or 3 tries in one game.
He does just get the head down and run.
Yeah.
So as we said, we're going to come back for round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. But Ross, pre-tournament predictions. Who do you think is going to be lifting the trophy, and who do you think is going to be lifting that wooden spoon?
Obviously, I'd love to say Ireland. I'm going to say Wales win the Six Nations again, with 5 or 4 wins and 1 loss. And I'm going to say Italy will have the wooden spoon. I think Ireland and England, I think it'll be a very tight between the 3 of them.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Because of Saracens' problems with England. No, I'm going to go for the amount of people that are going to like this now. I actually think England are going to win it. I think Ireland are going to come second if we get off to a good start. Wales to come third, France fourth, Scotland fifth, Italy sixth. Who knows what happens in round 2? Ireland do take on Wales in Dublin, and
I take it all back. Ireland are going to win, right?
But it's just the way the fixtures are set. France are.
I think
England are home.
Away.
Yeah, it's like this year is like our cycle where it's harder for us to win it. For people that understand, we have more, we've our trickier games away from home. You know, that's what it's done.
Yeah, isn't it funny the way we played the same 2 teams away all the time, the same 2 teams at home?
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But guys, thanks a million for watching. If you like Irish Rugby, make sure to hit subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, whatever you're watching it on.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching as always. And as always, stay energized.